So Rachel, so thank you for joining me today. Really, I just simply would like to ask you a little bit about brands, and there are two things that are really key for me to understand in terms of this small conversation. First one is which brands do you actively promote to others, and more generally, which brands are important to you?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll start in with Coca-Cola. I looked up some information before too, and I know some of these things are key for important to me. If you just talk about the value of any brand, I mean, it's number one ranked brand. It's $68 billion that Coca-Cola is worth. And it stands for, like, Coca-Cola Classic. They brought in that name. It's something that was important to them, that they stand out as they're an old brand. 1988 they started, and so over time they've stood the test of time of being the classic brand that people can count on for great quality, for innovation, for all around. Like their quantities that they have in store are always there. You can count on it being there. You can count on the quality of it. It's a fantastic brand overall that stood the test of time and stood the test of other companies like Pepsi that have come in as well. I mean, I see it a little bit like Imperial Tobacco, like us and RBH, right? They battle out, but Coca-Cola has still been able to come out number one for a lot of great reasons. So that's how I see them, as a strong brand. And they represent, I mean, when you think of the name, I would say everyone would equate it with pretty much the same thing. It's the freshness, and when you see it, you think, I'm thirsty. You actually crave it when you see just their branding. So it's a strong brand that is around the world, 200 countries. It's a very, something you can count on for the future. It's going to be around, 500 years from now type of brand. So
what would you say would be the strongest element of their branding? If there was a part of that branding that stood out more for you, what might it be?
Element, again, quality is what always comes to mind. It's an icon,
Okay.
But the actual quality of their product, they've had a unique taste, and it's been the same taste for the longest time. I guess that's why I keep referring back to classic and their ability to stick with one thing and make it work ongoing. And their innovations have never been anything drastic, to make sure that they haven't gotten too far away from that.
I'm curious to know, have you done a taste test before?
Yeah, I have.
You have, and you did.
I can tell the difference.
You can tell the difference?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So taste is a big part of your preference for that brand, and then quality insofar as the consistency of the taste.
Exactly, the reliability that you're going to get the exact same taste every time.
Okay. Would you actively promote Coca-Cola to somebody else?
Yeah, I would. Nowadays, with more and more options, I think more and more companies come out and they try to match it, but it can't be matched for the guarantee of Coca-Cola.
Okay.
So other brands?
Yeah, Coca-Cola is great. Is there any others?
For those that I would actively actually initiate to promote to others that I know, I jotted down a few that I know. IKEA, I don't have a lot of information for their background, but I know that it's something that it's an experience when you're in the store, and it's fun, something that's fun to share with people. It's just some people don't even know because they haven't gone in to have the experience. But when you walk in the store, you can drop your kids off. They have a daycare. There's food that's 50-cent ice creams, and they just create a really fun experience as you're going through, and you can see the different layouts, and you can picture yourself as though it's your home that you're in, and have those various experiences as you go through. And they've made it pleasant, like food at the start, food at the end. It's a really great time. It's almost like you're going out for an outing when you go to IKEA. So I know I actively promote it to people, whether they like shopping or not. A lot of people that don't like shopping, they still like IKEA. So good for men as well, because it's not just your typical boring shopping. So that's one that I definitely promote. I don't know if you want a more detailed.
No. Can I ask, would you eat at IKEA?
Yeah.
You do? You do eat at IKEA?
Might sound bad, but I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Another one is Walmart. Again, I'm sure it depends on the type of person you are, but for me, I like the guarantee that when you go in Walmart, you're going to find absolutely everything that you could possibly need on your outing, maybe even a little bit more, and it's all one stop. Your one-stop shop, and it's the guarantee. And I know that there's the whole debate of small businesses and supporting them versus supporting the big chains, but I feel like it's a big chain that got it right, and it should be supported. They're not raising their prices, and I don't see that happening in the future. They haven't yet, and I think it's a strong brand. You can count on them.
Is it anything beyond price?
Beyond price?
Yeah.
Availability.
So price and availability.
For me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it is good quality. I mean, it's not the best quality, but it is solid quality. If anything goes wrong, they take everything back. So it's the guarantee that you're not going to lose or waste your money at Walmart.
Okay.
At the very least, you can get it back if you need to.
And if you were to look at those three brands, which would be most successful in the future and why?
I would say, well, Coca-Cola, you can guarantee it just because it's such a huge track record, been around since like 1888. So I would say the guarantee it's going to be around is Coca-Cola, but for a brand that I would cheer it on, that it's going to innovate and become like groundbreaking and shaping for the future of others that try to copy it, I'd say IKEA. It's a bit of a leader in the industry.
Okay.
So, yeah,
great.
Between those. Did you want any more, or are you good?
If you have more, I'll take maybe. Let's take one more, and then I'm also interested in just a final view on where do you think branding may go into the future in general.
Okay.
So one more if you have first. Yeah.
Sure. There's a few, but I don't know if you really needed me to go into them.
Okay. Which ones do you have, and then which one do you want to maybe just spend a moment on?
This one's more about quality, and again, it's something that I promote to others. It sounds dumb, but it's called Clausen pickles, and they're a different type of pickle, and I don't know what they've put in their ingredient, but it's a fantastic product itself. So that one I promote strictly based on the product because it's very overpriced, extremely expensive, and they're just pickles, but they're fantastic, and so I still promote them to everyone because again, it's the experience of actually trying them, the quality of the product.
And how easy are they to find? Like, do you a specialist retailer or?
They're only in certain grocery stores. Superstore for sure will always have them, but not others. Co-op doesn't carry them, and some other grocery stores. So you have to kind of look for them, and they're never with the other pickles, so they separate them to make sure that you know that this is a quality pickle, and you're willing to pay the extra $3-4 a bottle.
So would you change supermarkets to find them?
Yeah,
you would.
I would.
Literally, it's bigger than the brand of the supermarket. You would find them that.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's bigger than the cost it might even cost me to go to that supermarket for the other products I'm going to buy because I like the products so much. So.
Okay, very good. So exclusive distribution would make you change store.
Right.
Excellent.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then last one was Success Magazine that I'd taken a note on. I just again I feel it's an icon, and they're constantly changing their look, their view, and they really hit the demographic that they're going after. They really encourage spontaneous looking for the future and what can I do to grow myself, and they really encourage that. So I guess it's something that I respect about what they're doing in that case. So anyway, that's another brand of magazine that I would suggest.
Okay. And then just in general, we talk about actively promoting brands. Is there any kind of view that you have, you feel that people may in the future activate brands more than they do today?
Absolutely. Today, it's a bit different than it ever was in the past. In the past, companies would just do their advertising, spend their money, millions in advertising, and hope that customers would come to them because they'd advertise their brand and it grew through brand name recognition. In the future, it seems that there's going to be more and more brands that are out there. People are building personal brands. There's companies that are now evolving to line up with companies that will market for them, and what those companies are marketing arms for them, and they pay people to advertise for them. And it makes sense that instead of spending money and hoping you're going to get customers, as a company you align with these companies that do your marketing through word of mouth for you, and you pay the money and you have a guarantee you have a customer because you don't pay the money until you have it. But anyway, it might sound a little bit complicated to do in a short time frame, but it's paying people to advertise. And it seems like it's the way of the future. We do it all the time. We talk to each other and make recommendations. So if I can get paid to make a recommendation, that's top of the list for the ones I'm going to make, right? So,
even if you have a conflict of interest with the product itself?
Yeah, that's a bit far. If I really didn't believe in it, you can't,
So you wouldn't be paid to promote something you didn't believe in. You would first need to believe in it.
Exactly. But if it's quality and there's 2 quality things on the lineup, I'll take the one that's going to pay me, right? So there's that, and the other part of that is, like I mentioned, in the future, personal brands. It seems to be rising more and more. Like you see books like Crush It. This is a young guy that was really excited about wine, and he ended up doing blogs on the internet and creating a personal brand for himself where he'd do videos and promoting all these various wines from around the world and people he met, and he's created his brand to be worth like millions and millions of dollars just from an average person. So and again, he wrote a book about it, teaching others how to do the same thing, where they can create a personal brand that people respect their opinion and their ability to go out and gather information on it, and that person can arise as a brand just based on their name. So I do think we'll see more and more of that, especially with platforms like Facebook and Twitter and all of those. There's ways for people to do it and create these bloggings and people following them on the internet, and names will become brands for the future, I think, as well.
I'm intrigued to know, do you follow any blogs yourself now?
I somewhat vicariously. There's a girl, I wish I could remember her name, that'd be more powerful talking about the brand. But anyway, she's on the rise she tracks it started out just random like clothes. She'd do things for random things that happen throughout her day, and she just ended up being fairly interesting to people. And now she's built it up so there's like tens of thousands of people that follow her anecdotes and whatnot that she puts on. And now she's created a clothing line out of it, just because people have followed her and they've bought into her, and so now she's created a clothing line out of it and doing very well just based off of a personal brand and a hobby online. So
Fantastic.
yeah.
Rachel, thank you so much for your insights. Thank you so much for the dialogue, and I appreciate your openness on the topic of branding today. Thank you.
No problem.